good afternoon, wherever you are. Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. I hope everyone is doing great today. I wanted to make sure I got my Real Housewives of Miami review in here. This is Real Housewives of Miami, Season 7, Episode 13. Next stop, Marbella. So thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. This is the Real Housewives of Miami review. Next stop, welcome to Marbella. So we know some of the ladies are leaving Sevilla and headed to Marbella to finish the rest of their trip. This part of the trip, they are actually going to two of Julia's friends, a couple, two men that she's going to ask them to be godfather to the new baby boy brothers, toddlers that she and Martina have just adopted for this show. Well, I don't know. I don't know if for the show, but she has just adopted these brothers. We find out Julia's let us know she has now become estranged from her daughters because she has not told them that she was going to complete this adoption. So there's a lot going on. Welcome in my moderator, my sister, Trush 612. I appreciate you. Welcome, Sharon Gobble. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I hope you both are doing well on this beautiful Sunday morning for me. It's only 10:24 here. I'm on the West Coast. As you know, I'm staying in the beautiful Malibu with a few ladies. We are having a great time. So we're going to do a little bit of shopping today. And I think there's some type of R&B thing going on tonight. They went to an event last night. I was supposed to go. I ended up not going because I'm actually here to celebrate a friend's birthday. So I do want to make it about Angela A., one of my moderators. I don't think she's in here, but it is her birthday weekend. I want her to feel special and enjoy her birthday weekend and do a lot of things that she loves. So she's a hardworking woman, and some of the things she loves is relaxing at a beautiful beach house. So I'm with her on that. I agree with that. So I hope everyone's doing great. This is Real Housewives of Miami, Season 7, Episode 13. Next stop, Marbella. So let's see. We're going to turn this comment off. So as you come in, please click the like button. And as you come in, if you're not subscribed, also go ahead and subscribe because Sandra P's Gen Extra, my channel, I am going to be doing recaps on a lot of Bravo productions, but I also cover, there are a few own shows that I'm watching. Heart and Hustle Houston is excellent. It's her first season. It's only 4 episodes in. You have plenty of time to catch up with that and also on the recaps. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. 6 beautiful friends in Houston. They're running their businesses. Half of them are married. Half of them are single ladies working it out. It's just a beautiful show. Heart and Hustle Houston. It's on OWN, and it's actually well worth watching. So Bravo is what I also do as well. And this is what Real Housewives of Miami, one of my favorite franchises. The season went a little bit left for me earlier when Julia assaulted our sweet Guerdy with that germ water. I'm not over Julia doing that, even though we have seen Guerdy work to move on and forgive. I don't like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and go through my notes, and then we'll discuss it if you've already seen it. But thank you so much for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. Okay, so the ladies are heading to the next city. They are waiting. Now, we know they're going to ride on Stephanie's plane. Stephanie, which is Miss New Money. She's the plane. That's all this lady's talking about. She wants them to beg her for a seat on her private plane. She's got 101 rules to the point where 2 of the ladies that she thought she was going to dangle this plane seat over kind of mixed it up. They flipped the script, which was Alexia and Marysol. They decided not to go because Stephanie alluded to the fact that, and if they disrespect me, y'all, the flight is 22 minutes. If they disrespect me on this flight, they can take a walk back or drive back. And so Marysol and Alexia said, okay, I'm not having nobody hang that over me. And they decided not to go with her. So all of the ladies don't know that yet, y'all. They're in the lobby of the Radisson. Radisson International is beautiful. So they're in the lobby. Kiki, all of them are saying she'll be on her best behavior because we know Adriana and Kiki got into it at dinner the night before and were yelling that each other were ratchet. Well, actually, Adriana called Kiki ratchet. She's now amended it to where she was saying wretched. I was giving her a little bit of grace because she speaks a lot of different languages and I could see that. But Adriana's so smart. I don't know how she did not know. I called it out as a microaggression at the time. And I still think that is what she was doing. She was poking Kiki. Kiki came back with, "You are too old to be talking like this." So now they kind of got into it. But because they're both ladies, they can still travel together and work together. So Guerdy, when Kiki showed up, Guerdy's like, "Oh, that's ratchet." So I guess that's an inside joke they have now. But Lisa is saying that, she's not doing any of that today as far as trying to make up with Larsa, because Guerdy is saying that eventually Lisa and Larsa have to talk. This is a one-sided feud to me, y'all. Lisa doesn't have anything against Larsa. Larsa is the one that's causing a problem. Y'all, how is the sound? I don't have a separate microphone with me. I don't know where I put it. Let me make sure I've turned it all the way up. And I apologize. Let me see. Stephanie is a mess. She acts like a spoiled brat, but I like her. You still like her? I am. You know what I like? I like that she's willing to call out people. I do like that. But Stephanie is a brat. I'm still on the fence with her. I don't really like one season wonders. Thank you, Trush, confirming the sound is good. I don't like one season wonders. I think they need to give each other, thank you, Sharon. They need to give each other more chances than just one season. I think once Stephanie settles in, she'll be okay. But all this bragging about my Birkin, the private plane, all these rules on a private plane. If you've been raised well, you can kind of figure out what to do and what not do. You're not going to boil up a whole bunch of toilet paper and pour it in the toilet. So I don't know. Those rules were kind of crazy. Welcome in, CC, one of my moderators. Thank you so much for coming in. She's speaking to everyone, myself, Trush 612, Sharon, everyone that's in here. Please click the like button. So the ladies are still in the beautiful Spain. And we have Kiki claiming she doesn't hold grudges, even though she's still PO'd at Adriana. She can travel with her. We get a confessional, Adriana. Adriana is saying, I tried to call Kiki a few times. She's not ready yet, so she just ignored me. So, and you know what, y'all? What I find ironic, Kiki doesn't hold any grudges, but she actually, Guerdy, she wants her to forgive that germ water immediately. Kiki is still mad, even though she's saying she doesn't hold grudges. So Kiki's a trip. She's kind of a pygmisha, to my mind. Julia comes down and she ends up saying that the two ladies, I call them the Cubans, which is Marysol and Alexia, because Alexia calls herself Cuban Barbie, even in her tagline. She says that they said they're not coming. And production helps us out. They show us exactly what's going on. We see Marysol and Alexia. They are quietly sitting on a patio and they're texting. They have their PJs on and their shades. Y'all, if I had a choice, I would have stayed with them. So they're sending a text. They're figuring out what they're going to text. And it says, Buenos dias. We won't be traveling with you as we need a mental break. We haven't rested yet. We hope you have a safe and beautiful trip. Y'all, I actually wrote down what the text was. We show Stephanie getting the text, which I love. They put her in a confessional. She's wearing her hair slicked back. What do you mean? She said, I thought we went to bed and everything was okay. No, Stephanie, everything was not okay. What Stephanie thought was okay is that they actually show a clip of when Alexia, Larsa, Marysol, Stephanie, they were teasing Larsa and joking that Larsa never yells. Keep note of that for later, y'all. Larsa never yells. And Alexia was joking, even if the house is on fire, she would say, the house is on fire. So Larsa thinks she's being sexy. She never raises her voice. She never so-called goes off. She's vicious as far as what she does say to people. She lies on people. Larsa's pretty terrible. I'm not a Larsa fan. But I do like the fact that she doesn't do all this loud turn-up type stuff. But put a pin in that for later, y'all. Because Lisa calmly had Larsa undone, unhinged, and I loved it. And I can't stand Marysol, but I would have preferred to be there with her and Alexia. They get out to the Sprinter, which is a large car, like a van. They're going to get a ride to the private jet terminal. Lisa's impressed. Oh, look, we got a big car. Stephanie grills Julia. She was like, you said that you knew that Marysol wasn't coming. What's going on? So Julia just said, Marysol was kind of worried about if something happened in Marbella that you were threatening to leave people behind. So and then Julia also says they were saying that even with all those rules you had, you were a little bit bossy. Stephanie had the nerve to say, y'all, you must not think I'm being that bossy if you're getting on my plane. They get to the plane and they get in. We get a confessional, Julia, who's saying, really, Stephanie? That's what the other ladies were talking about. That's why they didn't want to fly with you. And I agree. Sharon's still on Kiki, and I am too. Kiki's not trustworthy at all. She's a pick-me. She just wants the so-called popular girls to like her, but the popular girls don't have audience support. So I think they need to keep an eye on who the audience likes as well, because when Julia assaulted Guerdy and thought that we all were going to side with her and think that was cute, no, the only people that didn't have a problem with it were herself, Larsa, the two Cubans, Marysol and Alexia, and actually Adriana didn't like it. Lisa didn't like it. Guerdy, of course, didn't care for that. Kiki tried to remain neutral, but that was wrong. She should have stood up, and she got drenched as well. So that her running around doing interviews with Carlos King and anybody who would listen, to me, I just think Kiki is a pick-misha, and I don't appreciate her. So we have, they get on the private jet. Larsa pipes up. She's fussing at everybody else. She's like, Stephanie's doing something nice. She's spending $40,000 to fly 22 minutes and blah, blah, blah. Larsa, we don't care. Stephanie is not doing that to be nice. She's not doing it out of the kindness of her heart. She wants to dangle this and hang this over people's head. Like, I'm spending money. I'm doing this for you. If you want to do something for someone, do it. But that doesn't mean that they owe you. And if you feel like they owe you, then you did it for the wrong reason. And that's just how I feel about that. In real life, on reality show, whatever. So Larsa's, she kind of fussing at the ladies about they're not kissing Stephanie's backside enough for letting them ride on her private jet for 22 minutes. Stephanie actually, to me, she's visibly shook that she wanted to manipulate Alexia and Marysol and the rest of the ladies, and she wasn't able to do it because Alexia and Marysol removed themselves from the equation. And I love that. I like that. I appreciate it. Cece says, I don't understand why Larsa doesn't get tagged as a pedo for dating a child of one of her ex-husband co-workers. She is disgraceful to me, but you know, certain types do not carry those labels. Now, Marcus was a grown man when she got with him, but those are still the circumstances. The fact that her ex-husband and Michael Jordan were teammates, if not friends, they were teammates for decades. And Larsa, I don't care what she's saying, she knew Marcus and his brothers and his sister as children. Larsa's lying. We've caught Larsa in lies before. She knew them as children. So they're on the jet. We got Guerdy yelling, YOLO, baby. Guerdy was doing a little too much. I appreciate her not trying to tamp down her personality, but I feel like, I said, Guerdy, sweet Guerdy, they don't deserve your light. I feel like she didn't stand on business enough. And I know they didn't defend her, but I don't feel like she should be on there dancing with them and trying to make light and letting them all feel good after Goat Herd and Julia have assaulted this woman, this cancer survivor, with germ water. I'm not going to let that go. I'm going to BravoCon, and I believe me, that will be brought up. So the ladies are pretending to party on the private jet. They got this light show going on. They're jumping up and down. Y'all, it's a 22-minute flight. It's 22 minutes. I don't buy it. And I know the pilot thinks Stephanie's the biggest fool. She's just a wannabe. She stands up. Welcome to Showja Air. She starts making this long announcement. The ladies are not here. The ones that are not here, they're jealous, all this kind of stuff. I don't think Alexia or nor Marysol are jealous. I think Alexia has had her share of private jets, honestly. And I'm no Alexia fan, but the way she handled this and Marysol handled it, I'm in agreement with. When you're right, I have to tell you that you're right. So I agree with them not letting her dangle that plane seat. So we have Stephanie in a confessional. She's lecturing us again about jet etiquette, which to me is just home training. Okay, we already know Stephanie. Obviously, Stephanie did not know. So I'm going to start calling Stephanie New Money because that's how she's acting. She's ridiculous. The Guerdy was extra. Yeah, she was extra on this episode, Sharon. I agree. And Stephanie was shook. Sometimes when you don't react the way people expect you to, that kind of shakes up everything. They get upset. Church 612 says Larsa just wants attention, and knowing him as a kid, then dating him later is nasty. Sorry, in my opinion. My opinion too, Church 612. That's nasty in my opinion too. I'm gonna run a banner real quick because I'll probably say some more stuff about Larsa. I think she's terrible. Everything on here is just in my opinion, of course. I'm not going to share any clips because I have to figure out how to do that on the iPad. But copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use, purpose such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. And please like, share, subscribe, comment. Thank you so much for watching. All right, we'll put the comments back up. Yeah, New Money. That's a name for her. The way she's doing is terrible. And also, what I noticed about her, Sharon, she can't live in her experience. And I can tell why she doesn't have any friends. Every time you turn around, she's on the phone with Masood. She on the phone with her old man showing him everything. And look, honey, look at this. Look, honey, look at that. It's like, can you let that man go for 5 minutes while you're across the world? Or, you got to watch him, Stephanie. You know, they said Stephanie picked the ex-wife pockets for her husband. So she got to watch Masood. She got to watch her old man. So we finally get to Marbella. Stephanie's still talking about the fact that the Cubans didn't go. Y'all, I love production. Keep showing us what Alexia and Marysol are doing. They're in their pajamas and shades. And they have the kind of friends that, when I have friends that are like this, these are my favorite people. You can sit there and I can sit there. We can talk and have a conversation. But if we're not, nothing's missing. We're just chilling. So they're side by side in their pajamas. They got their phones and they're just texting. They got their shades on. They're talking about, we finally get to enjoy the weather. We finally get to just relax with nobody yelling in our ear. They got their cappuccino. They're just amazing. I love when production did that. So we decided that we calling Stephanie New Money. And you're right. Money can't buy you friends. They can't. And I can see why Stephanie doesn't have friends. Also, she's going to bring up her sisters. Y'all, she has twin sisters. I don't think they're her twins. I think they're twins to each other. She doesn't speak to them. She speaks to the mother and father. And I think it's because she's the one with the money. She did let the viewer know that she bought one a Range Rover. She bought one a Mini Cooper, excuse me. She used to work. They both worked with Sojai Group. And she said that she had to fire both of them. Now, I've not heard from the sisters yet. I think we will if Stephanie keeps talking about them and suggesting things about them. But because of the way Stephanie bosses people around, she's calling them sensitive. I don't know that they're sensitive. I just think they probably don't take any foolishness or rude behavior. Kind of like myself. I'm not sensitive. People may think I'm sensitive. I'm not. I'm going to set a boundary, enforce the boundary, and you could like it or not. And if you don't like it, that's your problem. I'm not going to stroke you on that. I'm just not. So we have the two friends. Julia introduces Derek and Jeffrey. Jeffrey actually was not there, but Derek is home. So they're in Marbella. Julia says she's known them 15 years. They give me the best advice and a shoulder to talk to. I like to do the voices just so y'all know who I'm talking about. And Julia, I appreciate Julia's additional languages. I'm not making fun of that, but she said a shoulder to talk to, and then she corrects herself. We know Julia's first language is Russian. So Julia is Russian, which is why Alexia said Russians make the best prostitutes. But of course, Julia has not held a grudge on that. A lot of stuff she had. I'm going to keep a list of the stuff Julia doesn't hold a grudge on. So he asks, what's going on? He invites all the ladies in to introduce. He sits them down to dinner. He has it laid out, y'all. It is just top of the line. This man has all kinds of money. I don't know anything about him or his background, but he is very wealthy. So, and Julia is a climber. So Julia, of course, collects these type friends, which is why she is all up Stephanie's backside. So Jeffrey's not there. Jeffrey, I guess, is his partner. They go in the kitchen and show the chef. Y'all, the chef is cooking lobster, whole snapper. The tables turn out. It looked like the best drinks, caviar, everything. So Lisa stands up and she announces that, because he says, well, any excitement? What's going on? She says, I just found out that my divorce is officially final. So most of the ladies toast her, congratulate her. Production shows us that Jody actually was the one that called Lisa and wanted to know, did you see the email that the divorce was final? So congratulations to Lisa, finally kind of getting rid of Lenny, but not really. We know they have 2 small children together, so Lisa gonna have to deal with Lenny for a while. And Lenny has been pretty terrible to her. So most of the ladies are toasting her. Lars is sitting there making a point of not toasting her, not congratulating her. And then Lisa is saying, congratulations on the divorce. Larsa refuses to give Lisa anything. Larsa is so petty. I don't know yet what Lisa has done to her, but Larsa is holding this grudge. Yeah, Sharon, that dinner was amazing. It did look really good. He really pulled out the red carpet for them. So we have Julia saying that she doesn't hold a grudge, and she's not upset that the Cubans are not there. We get Stephanie in a confessional, and New Money is mad, y'all. She's mad that Julia isn't mad. I can't believe that Julia is not upset that they came all the way to Europe, all the way to Spain, and then they're not going to watch her name godparents to her children. That's none of Stephanie's business, but she wants Julia to be mad. We know Julia refuses to be mad with Alexia and Marysol because she feels like they're the popular girls. So we get back to Alexia and Marysol still in Sevilla. Y'all, now they've gotten dressed and gone out to a cafe to have coffee, congratulating themselves on staying there, enjoying the weather. They start talking about New Money, the fact that they were not going to let her hold that jet over them. I agree with them. And then, y'all, we see Marysol take a call from Sir Richard Branson. That's his title. Richard Branson that owns Virgin Airlines, Virgin Cruises. This is where the crews come in, y'all. Marysol is pretending that I have a lot of rich and very important friends. I don't think she's friends to Sir Richard Branson. Sorry, I think maybe she met him through the show. He's getting free promotion on the cruises. So, y'all, the whole cruise that Captain Sandy, Guerdy, Martina refused to go. They claim it was a cancer situation. I think Martina is an introvert and is sick of Julia's begging and social climbing. So I think that's why Martina was like, I'm not going. Because we know Martina is Julia's clout. Julia is boring to me. She's cringe. She's over the top. She's always trying to kiss people in the mouth with her lizard tongue or throwing stuff on them. I don't like Julia. She's attacked 3 cast members, and Bravo has been covering for her. I think Andy Cohen's finally tired of her, so we'll see what happens. But the whole cruise thing, it was a Virgin cruise. So Sir Richard Branson is announcing, I'm giving you ladies a 2-day cruise, this, that, and the other. He's asking Marysol, and how's the marriage? She's been married to Steve 4 and 5 times as her storyline. Y'all, we don't care. And this is terrible as far as them acting like they're talking as friends, but I could see the promotion because he mentioned Virgin a couple times. And y'all, I've been wanting to go on a Virgin cruise, so that's something I'll do. It's no children. No children alive, so it's allowed. No children allowed. So it's a very adult cruise. The food's supposed to be amazing. And it looks like it will be a lot of fun. Yeah, he did. You saw that, Sharon. He did that for promotional reasons only. He's not friends with Marysol. So as they're still coming in, they're going to go to another place for dinner. Lisa's walking and talking. I just love this rich people dinner. Y'all, Lisa kind of trashy. Y'all know she worked in Vegas. She left home at 16. She worked as, I guess, a bottle girl or whatever that was. Lenny picked her up at maybe early 20s. But Lisa's just adorable to me. She's self-absorbed, but she's not a Larsa. I don't think she's worse than Larsa. So she's saying, I love rich people dinner. And do you have any Grey Poupon? Y'all know that's from a commercial. It's mustard, so I don't know what she's trying to get mustard for, but do you have any Grey Poupon? She stands up to give a speech, and she's like, and I want to recognize my missing friends and pour some out for my missing friends. And Guerdy said, it's not dead LA homies. Girl, sit down. So Lisa's got 3 or 4 different things mixed up, y'all. She's at this rich people dinner trying to pour out champagne for the dead homies. Well, she said missing friends and somehow put that with dead homies, which she asked for. Yeah, with the Grey Poupon. I'm like, does she remember that commercial? That commercial's from the 80s. Do you have any Grey Poupon? So that's if you're trying to be like top of the line. You have any Grey Poupon? You're being bougie. So I'm like, okay, y'all eating lobster, red snapper. They had all kind of veggies and stuff. What are you putting mustard on? So that was funny. So then Julia says that you and Jeffrey have been my friends so long. You know, the husband wasn't there, but Derek, the host, was. And she said, I would like you to be my children's godfather. He, of course, accepted. He was very touched by it. Confessional Adriana kind of is upset. She says, I never have been asked. I wanted to be godmother. Adriana, you and Julia were never friends that close. You're not going to be godmother. And I'm just going to say it, and I don't care who like it. Two black boys. I think they're Haitian, but they live in Miami. They're toddlers. Julia said they need some type of male influence. Her brother lives in another country, Germany or Russia, somewhere. He's older. He's the influence. And then these two gay white men, they're the other influence. Y'all, I'm praying for these boys. This is not going to go well. I'm sorry. It just, who are they going to identify with that look like them, talk like them, feel something like them? She can't stand Guerdy. Guerdy's two sons, they're older teens now. Liam, and I can't remember the other one. It just, Guerdy Jr. and Russ Jr. to me. One is real stoic and cool, and the other one is over the top, the younger one. Those boys would have been more like those kids that Julia and Martina have adopted. Her daughter's not talking to her, so they don't have any younger people that are closer that are family. Y'all, this is a mess. You want to go on the Star of the Seas? Yeah, I look at YouTube has videos of the people that travel and they show different things. I want to do that too, CC. I want to plan like a cruise, an adult cruise that we go on and just have a few cabins. And people that want to be by themselves, they can be by themselves. People that want to join for dinner, they can join for dinner. Because that's the way I like to travel too. So Adriana, to me, we're kind of begging that to be the godmother. I don't know why she did that. We see Jeffrey and Derek on a FaceTime. Julia is talking about the daughters. Kiki is in this gorgeous lavender pantsuit. Kiki's always dressed, y'all. She's always looking pretty. And then she says, we're here. We're from Haiti to here, which that's got to be a big accomplishment, y'all. The way the two of them are from Haiti, they both have said they grew up kind of hard. And now look at them. They're in Europe. They're in Spain. They're at this prestigious dinner. I'm proud of both ladies. And I'm sorry that I feel like Kiki kind of betrayed Guerdy. So Kiki's asking, would it be ratchet if I start twerking? They start twerking to get together a little bit. And then Guerdy's joking, that's so ratchet. So they kind of still picking at Adriana. We get a confessional, Adriana. Adriana says, I sincerely apologize. I interchanged ratchet and wretched. I don't know. I called it out as a microaggression at the time, but Adriana's kind of slick and she can go off. She might have did that to provoke Kiki because it did poke Kiki. Kiki started yelling immediately and calling people old. I feel the same way, Sandra. Those poor boys are going to be so messed up. Because the school they have them in, they're probably not going to have kids that look like them, act like them, talk like them. See, I know who that is. Poverty to Paradise. Yeah. Oh, she haven't been on that yet. Oh, okay. It's not Poverty to Paradise. That's one of the ones. That's Linnell that moved to the cruise ship. But the one you're talking about, I don't think she's been on a Virgin yet. But if you'll let me know who that is, I might follow her. There's another lady, Jen Daniels Experience. She's done quite a few Virgin, and she likes them. She likes them a lot. There's quite a few travel ladies that I follow that love to cruise. So yeah, that is one of the ones I want to go on, Stars of the Seas. Sharon, you think she knew? She knew what she said and she meant it. Yeah, I love Adriana. I try to give her the benefit of the doubt, but I also try to I have it in here, give the benefit of the doubt. I don't have to give her the benefit of the doubt, but I try to be objective. So I try to make sure just because I like someone, I'm not looking over wrongdoing, because a lot of creators fall into that, where if someone is a favorite of theirs, they can do no wrong. So, I mean, if you're wrong, you're just wrong. And I felt like at the time when she said, oh, Kiki, stop being so ratchet. It sounded like ratchet. We know what ratchet is. She claimed now that it was wretched and she kind of misspoke, but I don't know. Because she got the reaction out of Kiki that she wanted. Kiki said, you want to see ratchet? I'll get ratchet on your A. And then started, you too old to be talking like that. And it turns out old is actually Adriana's Achilles heel. Y'all, she don't like that. She's trying to be young. And she's the oldest of the ladies. She's pushing 60 or right there. But she looks younger than Marysol. And Marysol kind of got her life. oh, look at her now. She's upset being called, oh, she's older than me. Yeah, she is older than Marysol, but she looks younger than Marysol. And Alexia can go, she goes back and forth. She was laughing about it, but she's that age as well. So we have a scene with the friend, Derek, the old man that is now going to be godfather to these little babies. Lord help these little brothers. So he's their godfather. And Julia is cry face, crying with no tears. And please talk to my daughters. He know my daughters 15 years. So the daughters are in their 20s. So he's known them since they were children. So Julia with her 3 children, with 3 different men, but calling other people all kind of names and looking down on them. Y'all, I just can't stand Julia. If she does anything right, I will call her out as doing something right, but I don't like Julia. So if I get a chance to shade Julia with her goat herding, assaulting self, I will. Oh, Trust, your break's over. Thank you so much for coming in. Linnell was on? Oh, she was? Okay, I'm going to find that video and watch it. No, Star of the Seas. She does Royal Caribbean too. Are you talking about a Royal Caribbean? You know how they all have their different. That is Royal Caribbean because they have like Anthem of the Seas. They have some other, but their names will be of the seas. Because I've been on Royal Caribbean twice. I'm going to go back. I do like their layout, but the one time I was really ill for a couple of days was on a Royal Caribbean cruise, and it was actually one of their 6 ships. This was back, like right after they started cruising again. They had to kind of delay the ship after we got back and do a deep clean. And I was one of the people, that was the first time I'd ever been sick like that. And we had 2 cabins door to door. The other people did not get sick. The other part of my family, I did. And my niece, one of my nieces was sharing with me. She ended up, she wouldn't use the bathroom like where I was. She was going into their cabin to make sure. And I kept everything wiped down. Thank goodness nobody else got sick. I'm very considerate as far as that goes. I don't play like that. She does Carnival and Royal Caribbean. Yeah, that's what I thought. I want to do a Virgin. So that Star of the Seas is one of the newer Royal Caribbean then. Thank you, Cece. So yeah, Sir Richard Branson, promotional. He gave out the free Virgin cruises, which Julia made into a thing against Guerdy. That's crazy. So now we have all of the ladies. Oh, Julia is crying to Derek. I want you to call my daughters, making her cry face with no tears. I want you to let them know. Tell them. And even Martina, she's saying, Martina have helped raise them. They're not talking to Martina. Does she have to get more cancer? Shut up, Julia. I wrote down, shut up, Julia, invoking Martina's cancer. So that was disgraceful. For her to come to this man's house and be screaming and crying. And he reassured her. He said, I'll call them. And I don't care if they get mad at me. So he gonna dig into their business. I don't blame the daughters. Because Martina's pushing 70. She's a cancer survivor. Julia didn't raise her own children, or she barely did, in my opinion, allegedly and in my opinion. So I don't know what's going to happen with these 2 little boys, but the daughter's probably scared they're going to have to end up taking care of them. And then also splitting the inheritance. So then we get the ladies go back to Sevilla. They meet up later on with Marysol and Alexia, who have had a wonderful day, relaxing, texting, being in their pajamas. When they got up, they were able to go get lattes, and they had a great day. Cece have a blessed day to Trust. She went back to work. And then we have Sharon. You can tell Julia's Russian. She's very cold and shrewd. Yeah, I think it is cultural maybe, because she seemed to have no emotions. Even with the way when she assaults someone or she goes left, when she was attacking Guerdy, she was just, oh, yeah. I just didn't like how she could be a dangerous person. And I heard she lifted up a chair at one of Dr. Nicole's events. And then she also threatened Marysol, tried to throw a bucket of ice onto Marysol's head. Y'all know Marysol drinks a lot, but she doesn't really eat. Marysol about 85 pounds. She could have really been hurt. As Russ said, Julia's a big, tall woman, and she gets very aggressive. So we'll see what Andy Cohen's HR is going to do about that. So they get back to Sevilla after a successful trip. They had a nice dinner. Nobody really got into it. Stephanie's salty, y'all. She's mad. So as soon as the rest of the ladies join, Alexia and Marysol are confronted by new money. Here comes Stephanie. I want to find out why you ladies decided not to go last minute and you just told me. So Marysol is telling her, stop demanding answers from people. We don't answer to you. I agree with you, Marysol. You don't answer. So we saw Lisa, Tomas, that Stephanie was pretending like her own personal valet or something. Tomas works for the hotel and he goes around, helps the ladies get dressed, deliver their dresses. We see him deliver Lisa's dress. Lisa's still in her Spain persona. She's saying, andale, andale. And he's like, you mean ole? She said, oh, so what's andale? He said, I think that's Mexico. So Lisa, go ahead and learn Spanish. You live in Miami. You can do it. Learn it with your children. You can learn Spanish with her children because she's funny. Talking about andale, andale. He said, ole. So the ladies come down. Confessional, Marysol is saying that she had already started planning something because it's Stephanie's birthday at the same time that they were traveling. Julia was helping her. But confessional, Marysol said, I don't want to lose the deposit. So I agree with her on that. Even though they've kind of fallen out with Stephanie, they already got some stuff in the works for her. So Marysol tells the ladies, they get out onto the plaza. They're dressed. You remember they got the flamenco dresses? They're all dressed in their different version of the polka dot dresses. Everybody looks pretty. I didn't know how those dresses were going to turn out, but they all look good. Guerdy is a girl's girl, y'all. As the ladies were coming in, Larsa came in with Stephanie. They're joined at the hip. Larsa had a red one on, and it had the polka dots. And Guerdy's like, you look like the emoji. I thought that was so funny because Guerdy's always complimenting people and all that. Guerdy, Kiki, everybody looked pretty. Guerdy's wearing her little hat because, she got her short haircut. Y'all know that short haircut bothers some people. I was under Guerdy's post, and the lady was like, why don't you put your wig back on? She doesn't have to put her wig back on. She's pretty with hair, without hair, hat, wig, no wig, Caesar cut. So people really think they own you. But Guerdy's got her little hat on. She calls herself the little pimp with the limp when she wears that little Stetson. So Marysol says, we're all going to get on a carriage ride. Everyone get into a trio, so they'll be in threes. My favorite trio is Guerdy, Adriana, and Lisa. We had a Keo of the wannabes, which was New Money, Larsa, and Kiki. And then we had Julia and the two Cuban. One is a Barbie, the other one not. So Marysol, Julia, and Alexia. So they bring out a cake for Stephanie. They sing happy birthday to Stephanie. Stephanie's still mad, y'all. She's still trying to get her get back. So we see New Money talking about, I'm getting whiplash. Yesterday they were calling me bossy, and today they're throwing me a party. Now Marysol has already told us we had already spent money for the party, and so that's why. She didn't want to lose her deposit. So as the trio is walking off again, you can tell Julia, the Russian, she's very cold and true. Oh no, we saw that already. I'm sorry. Sharon, I want to show this new comment. Guerdy gives a lot to people but gets nothing in return. Yeah, I know. I don't like that. I don't like when people are like that. It's kind of hard to change that if you're like that, but you just have to. You have to go cold turkey because she's never going to get what she wants in return out of these ladies. She can't be complimenting them and all that kind of stuff, and they never do the same to her or even protect her when she's being assaulted. That's just too much. I'm curious about this reunion, which they have already shot. I just want to see what happens. So New Money pulls aside Alexia. Can I borrow her for a minute? Marysol didn't want to, but they always say they're twins and all this kind of stuff. So she's like, okay, yeah, you can. So they get aside. We see confessional Stephanie talking junk. Oh, they're like two twins. I can barely tell one from the other. And Alexia's like, nobody's ever called me a twin before. Alexia's kind of dumb, y'all. She's so literal. She said, my father is actually an identical twin. Production being production. They show us this old picture of Alexia's father and his twin. So I thought that was funny. Stephanie wants to get Alexia's side away from Marysol so she can argue with her. And so she's saying, okay, you keep changing your story. Now, this is a grown woman, as they call her, an old woman. She's talking to an older woman. I want to know why you didn't go on my plane. Now, they had already told her, you threatening us that we're going to walk back and all this kind of stuff. And then Alexia also said, I didn't get any rest. I just needed my peace of mind. So that's why I stayed back. New Money's arguing, which one is it? And then Alexia is like, okay. And then Stephanie goes, I didn't cut you off. And Alexia said, Don't talk to me like that. She said, that's why you don't have any friends. That's why nobody wants to talk to you. You don't know how to talk to people. I'm no Alexia fan, but I was saying, get her, Alexia. Let her know. Don't do that. Am I bad for thinking of Guerdy as kind of a simp, the way she allows people to play in her face and disrespect her? No, Cece, you're not bad. A lot of people are disliking Guerdy and do think of her as a simp because of that. I have grace for Guerdy because of everything that Guerdy has gone through, and I just love Guerdy. But there are a lot of people that are pretty upset with Guerdy and feel like she forgave too soon. She didn't stand on business. Lady, you got assaulted at work. A goat herding maniac threw germ water into your face. You are a cancer survivor. Y'all, I would have been laid out. I would have been, oh Lord, I can barely breathe. I know she got a lot of animals and germs on her farm. There's germ water. I just had my treatment. Oh Lord. And Guerdy's just giggling and laughing and YOLO and dancing with them. So Cece, no, you're not wrong to think that. I'm upset with Guerdy, y'all. We can't be madder than her, but I feel like had she conducted herself a little bit differently, I don't think Julia would have a job now. I don't want her back. I don't care if she doesn't get another season. I just have to say it. So Alexia and Stephanie is still kind of getting into it. Stephanie saying she didn't cut Alexia off, and Alexia let her know, stop talking to me like that. I'm not going to talk to you if you talk like that. So we do see Stephanie not knowing how to act. We get Stephanie in a confessional. I'm triggered because my sisters treat me the same way. Now, she's the one the sisters are not speaking to her. She's claiming they're sensitive, but I think Stephanie doesn't know how to talk to people, and she talks crazy to people, and she feel like because she had money that she could dangle over their head and make them feel like they need her, that they'll allow her to do that. And some of us, Sharon's saying when I say, Cece, no, you're not. It's not wrong to think that. Yeah, I think that about Guerdy. I'm sorry. I'm upset that I don't think she's a simp, but I hate that she allowed them to play in her face, and they do. So production flashback is showing Stephanie saying that she would leave people in Marbella. Stephanie lied and said, I never said that if they broke rules that I would leave them. Production helps us out and shows Stephanie saying exactly that. And if they disrespect me, I will leave them. They can walk back or they can drive back. So that Stephanie did say that. So she and Alexia are yelling at each other. The other lady's like, oh my goodness, what's going on? We got Kiki and Guerdy standing there. They were still friends at the time. Guerdy had her fan and they were like, woo, woo, woo. Every time something happened, they're looking back and forth because there's arguments going on. So another argument popped off, y'all, with Lisa and Larsa. Stephanie was yelling, I tried to put the group together and Alexia is the one that wanted me to leave Lisa. So now all the ladies are together. And Lisa hears her name and she's like, wait a minute, what? She said, who wanted to leave me? Who didn't want me on the plane? Stephanie lies and said, Alexia. That was Stephanie, y'all. Well, actually, it was Larsa. Larsa said, no, it was me, because Larsa is up Stephanie's bottom. She don't want to lose new money as a friend. So she said, no, actually, it was me. But Stephanie said, do you want to ride on the plane with Lisa? And Larsa's like, I don't want to ride on a plane with her. I don't want to ride on a car with her. This is when they're supposed to be feuding over Jody texting Larsa. But y'all know, I believe that Larsa texted Jody first, and he just defended himself. And his text was not even anything bad. It was just like, hey, stop talking all this junk about us, or we're not going to be friends with you. So that's really all it was to me. That's really all that was. So all the ladies are arguing. Lisa is saying, you don't want me to open my mouth. I'm going to start opening my mouth because you're trying to turn everyone against me. Now, Lisa, y'all know, I think Lisa's adorable. All of them are in their flamenco dresses. Lisa's standing there with her little flamenco dress on. And she's standing on business, y'all. She's right in Larsa's face. And I'm tired of you trying to turn the whole group against me. And I don't appreciate that. I think you're the one didn't want me on the plane. And you feel like I'm not going to open my mouth. So here's Miss Cool, Calm, and Collected Larsa, who never yells, yelling, open it, open it. And her lips, y'all. Larsa, who's never had any work done. Look at season 1, Larsa. And that's all I'll say. Open it, open it. And Lisa was like, lumpy, bumpy. Y'all, she was outright insulting Larsa to her face. And Lisa, she's kind of immature, so she was insulting like a little girl. She was Lumpy and bumpy is not the worst thing you could say about somebody, but I tell you, that hit Larsa Pippen where she lived. I had to laugh. I was laughing at that. So Larsa couldn't do anything with that. Stephanie's there. She's upset. Guerdy is there with the fan. Every time somebody makes a point, she's accentuating the point with the fan. That was funny. Kiki was looking back and forth like a tennis match. Marysol started getting really upset. Like, why can't the group go somewhere together without all of this? Julia's just standing there with her eyes bugged out because she is a clown. She doesn't know whose side to be on. She's trying to calculate, like, who has the most money and the most clout. Which side should I be on? That's got to be hard to do, y'all. I like to go by right or wrong. But Julia doing something else. So they're screaming at each other. Lisa is calmly saying, Petty Pippin. She's coming up with all this stuff. Lars is screaming, lumpy, bumpy. That's Lisa. Lars is yelling, open it, open it. Petty Pippin, lumpy, bumpy. So Lars is really upset. Stephanie is pointing. She's yelling. She started calling the two Cubans twins. Alexia is denying that. So this is crazy. We see a separate scene. Adriana and Kiki. Each one had a confessional. Adriana is saying, I'm going to forgive myself. I didn't mean to insult Kiki. I have let her know that I apologize. So we find out that Kiki and Adriana are okay about the wretched type confusion. Julia is on the side with Money Sharon. I can't understand people like that, but we know that she is such a pick-me and a wannabe. I feel like she married Martina for her clout and money. And I think she adopted these little boys to stay on the show and for attention and for clout. And I find her terrible. So New Money ends up looking like a fool. We see Marysol joking that the cake is canceled. Then we see Marysol crying to Adriana. So y'all, they're having a fit. New Money's complaining to Larsa. So now she's switching her vendetta to Marysol. I used to think it was Alexia. Now I think that it's Marysol. Because when Alexia is by herself, she's okay. Y'all, I did notice that too. Remember a few episodes back when they had the boating trip? And again, Larsa was acting like she can't be here with this person. This one can't be here with that person. But when Adriana found out that Marysol didn't want to be on the boat with her, and that's when she was calling her old wrinkly knees and old whore and all this kind of stuff, we find out that Marysol and Alexia, when they're separated, Alexia is fun. Because when ladies did 007, remember when they came on, they kind of boarded their boat and they were spraying water on everybody. I pointed out, I said, Alexia was cracking up. And Marysol was acting like she was going to melt. She was furious. She was like, stop it. Stop it. So Marysol, you are no fun. Marysol's no fun. Alexia, she can go with the flow or not. Okay, here's Cece saying what I think. I don't trust people from Julia's home. After taking advanced Russian studies, I'm good. Cece, you see what? We got the orange clown going up there, laying on his last legs. And he just met with somebody who was trained by the KGB, got the nerve to be alone with the man and feels like he can go toe-to-toe with him intellectually. And we know that that's not the case. So, yeah, you're right. I haven't studied Russian history, but I've heard enough. I'm Gen X. You're younger than me, but I came up when the Cold War and all that was a thing. So watching people now kowtow because certain ones have money, I don't understand it. But it's going to come back to bite all of us, unfortunately. But, yeah, I don't trust Julia at all. And I think, honestly, she knew Derek and what is his name? The other guy, the couple. He said 15 years ago. We don't know when they met each other and what Julia was doing at that time, Jeremy. Because they said she's one of them ones that used to kind of do like, I won't call her a madam. I won't call her what Alexia called her. I won't call her a Russian prostitute. But there is a world where people with a lot of money do a lot of freaky, messed up things. So I'll just leave it at that. You can just fill in the blanks where you want because my channel's kind of PG. But Real Housewives of Miami, you know, everybody's grown. Even the babies of the bunch are in their 40s, which is Lisa. And Larsa's got 10 years on her. Y'all know Larsa Pippen is 51 years old. And she got that mixed up in her mind because she talks like she's about 15. So we have a confessional, New Money. Stephanie's in there lying on her sisters again. Yeah, and this is why this group of women, I don't really like dealing with them because my sisters have done the same thing to me. They stopped talking to me. So while all the ladies are on a balcony, somebody smells some kind of smoke or something. And y'all, they look down into the street. I guess there's essential oils and different smells. And they said, is it a funeral procession? Oh, wow, they can't believe it. So there's some type of parade that's going on. I don't know if it's one of those kind of like New Orleans, you know, where they almost have a celebration of life and they're marching down the street. So it was a cross between a funeral procession, a parade, and just dressed up people marching. And the ladies, they were all arguing, but they had to show respect to what was going on down below them. So in the confessional, we have Alexia, and she does look like a Cuban Barbie here, y'all. She's in a strappy gold dress. And so she is just, she's saying that the trip for her went okay, which it did. When she pulled herself out of that foolishness, it went fine. We have Larsa and New Money, Stephanie. They are mocking, to me, a prayer, saying, oh, Jesus, here's Stephanie. Jesus, please don't help me bleed out. I don't like when people do that. You don't have to be overly religious, but I don't believe in mocking while you're praying. And then Larsa talks about Lisa. And Jesus, please don't let me overlook all of the negatives in Lisa and only see the positive. This is why everybody can't pray for you. That's in my notes. And then I have trifling. So that's the end of it. I didn't stay to watch the preview, or I don't know if they showed a preview. This was a pretty good episode, but a lot of it was more this trip, y'all. I know they're ready to go home because I'm ready for them to go home. So I can only give it a 7. Now, the part where Lisa ate up Larsa Pippen and called her lumpy and bumpy and petty Pippen and finally had Larsa's. She says it's not a fake butt. She says there's nothing with her face, none of that. But to me, she looks like Mama Elsa reincarnated, and I don't care what Larsa's talking about. Season 1 Larsa and Larsa now in season 7, there's something different about her, and it's not just you get older. We all get older. Our faces get fuller. Some of our faces get more drawn. You change. But your whole features and everything about you, why would she look like a Kardashian? There's no. I don't believe Larsa Pippen. I think she is petty Pippen. I think she is lumpy and bumpy. And I think she had work done. And she doesn't have to admit it, but she's not going to we're not going to accept those lies. Okay, we're not. That was it, y'all. That was the end of the episode. Real Housewives of Miami, season 7, episode 13. Next stop, Marbella. So if you haven't gotten into this season yet, it is still worth watching. The first part of it was the worst. I can understand Guerdy moving on, but I do see why I wanted to showcase Cece's comment again about Guerdy. Because like I said, we can't be madder at Julia than Guerdy is. But again, I feel like Guerdy, I want to see her stand on business a little bit more. You got assaulted, girl. She put germ water in your face. She stood over you. She was doing all this. I didn't expect Guerdy to fight. Now, Guerdy was eating her up as far as the words. She was telling her, you're going wild. You're acting like a hyena. Look at you. Low class. Look. And all of that stuff was just gut punching Julia. But I want to see, not hold a grudge, because that's poisonous too. But I want Guerdy to protect herself. Kiki's not going to do it. Kiki's on the side of money too. Somebody said Julia's on the side of money. Sharon Gobble? Yeah, Kiki's on the side of money too. So Guerdy's got to be on Guerdy's side. Russ doesn't get in women business. He's limited as to what he can do. So that's going to be for Guerdy. So this was a good episode in that we see Lil Lisa defending herself. Because Larsa was trying to bully this lady. It didn't work out. So this is pretty good as far as that. I would recommend watching it if you have not. Thank you all for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. I'm going to share some more of the travel experiences. Few more things we have planned today. So I will see you in the YouTube streets. I want to thank you all so much for stopping in. Have a great day, everybody. Goodbye.